Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Senkara and welcome back to It Gets So Lonely Here. If you haven't already, be sure to check out the first 3 episodes of this series, or at the very least be sure to watch the previous episode before checking out this one. But let's get right into the game once more. The following morning, when it arrives, is cloudy and overcast. It is not a particularly pleasant morning, but at least it is not raining. That is some small consolation. You rise from your straw pallet, stretching, then glance about the interior of the fisherman's cottage. It looked dilapidated last night, when much of it was obscured by the shadows, but it looks even more so when you're subjected to the morning's light. The cottage's interior has a distinct, disquieting appearance of having been abandoned in a hurry. A quick search reveals a handful of edibles. Ooh, edibles, nice. But there is precious little to be getting on with. You're not thinking of your own physical discomforts. You're dwelling instead upon the events of the night prior. You cannot help but think of the mermaid. Did you truly meet an aquatic maiden last night during your nightly stroll when you could not sleep? It sounds unreal, especially now that the sun has risen and the shadows from the night prior have dispersed. You cannot quite believe it. It must have been a dream. But why, then, can you recall it so very clearly? You help yourself to the scant food and drink available to you, all the while thinking of your next course of action. Now, what are you to do? You plan, of course, to return to the shore come nightfall so that you might once again meet the mermaid, but the night will not arrive for quite some time. You need to find some means of keeping yourself occupied until then. The uninspiring interior of the cottage does not furnish you with any particular ideas, so you decide to go for a walk. Your soul still ache from your exertions last night, but if you go slowly, you ought to be alright. I don't know, I feel like whatever was chasing us could still be out there, but hey, what do I know? Your meanderings led to the cliffs, which are steep and sharp. You're rather more determined than you ever realized. Though I, of course, could have told you that much. Who are you? Why are you speaking? Who is the narrator? You are surprisingly capricious for such a small, slender human. Human. Is she saying human in a sense that whoever is talking is not human? Is the narrator not human? Well, the narrator's a disembodied voice, so I guess that goes for something, but still. Your meanderings along the cliff reveal to you all manner of curious flora. You thought the night prior that the cliffs were weather-blasted, but you can see now that your assumptions were incorrect. There are flowers here, very warm and bright like the sun's light during the summertime. Or you think, with a flush of pleasure, the fair hair of the mermaid, whom you are uncertain you spoke to last night. These flowers are so very like her hair, it's uncanny. You step towards the flowers, drawn towards them, and sink down to your knees. The tall grass brushes your ankles like a caress, the morning's dew wetting your skirt. Your clothes are getting damp, as are your legs, but you care not for the minor discomfort. You've just had an idea. Why not make a gift for your new friend? What, a flower crown? You are sure she would appreciate it. Why would she not? She told you in a voice which was steeped with dolor that she was feeling lonely. You want to see her again, and when you next see her, you'd like to make her smile. It is with this thought in mind that you begin to pick the flowers which are growing upon the cliffside. You mean to make for your mermaid a diadem, something she'll be able to wear in her hair. This tiara is certain to suit her. She's so pretty, anything would suit her. You continue to work slow and steadfast as the weak sun shines. It takes time, but you are eventually able to fashion something you're satisfied with. You only hope the mermaid will feel similarly, if indeed she really does exist. Carefully, you pocket your makeshift diadem and then decide to forage for some food. You discover during your search some fruit trees whose sweet burdens are enough to fortify your spirits. For the present, at least. It is fortunate, really, that you are so excited about your moonlight rendezvous with the mermaid. If you were less focused upon the future and dwelt more in the immediate present, you might have more of an appetite. The time is horribly slow in passing, in part because you have precious little to do, but also because you cannot stop thinking of the mermaid. Will she really return to the shore as she said she would? Can you truly trust her? You hope that you can. If she were not present at your designated meeting place, you think you would die from disappointment. The seconds continue to trickle by unchecked by any hourglass, and as they do, the sun sinks beneath the horizon. Part of you worries, however, that it might still be too early to search for the mermaid. Will she be there yet? I mean, no harm in going early, like, she might arrive early and then think that you didn't come, so, may as well. You sit there. I feel like also that there is a safer way to get there other than going down the cliff. You could go around the cliff, but what do I know? You sit there, your stomach tied up in anxious knots, and as you listen to the wind which buffets your windows, you hear it. The sound is faint, but you recall it well from the night before. There is a single solitary voice outdoors, tempest-tossed amidst the roiling waves. The voice is a high, clear one, silvery, if indeed voices can have colours, like a finely polished dinner plate in a nobleman's home. The voice belongs, of course, to the mermaid. Who else do you know with a voice as angelic as that? There it is. Relief begins to bubble up inside you. A relief so potent you feel dizzy from it. Song does not give me the feeling of relief. It's kind of sad. It's a lonely song, I think. Though somewhat feels evil as well, and I don't trust it. I feel like I already know where this is going. I think we all know where this is going. So, you have returned to me, my hero, the mermaid says, and then lightly she giggles. Or perhaps I should say heroine. Her praise makes you blush. You do not feel worthy of it. Nobody has ever called you a heroine before. Nobody has ever even given you heroine. If a story were made about you, you rather think that you would be a supporting character, one without her own voice. You're not interesting enough. The mermaid seems to think that you are, though. You can tell the mermaid that you do not think you are so very brave, but she dismisses your awkward remark with a laugh. I think you are. I saw the way you scaled those cliffs. I thought that was very heroic. Oh, so she saw that, did she? Well, I am pretty good at scaling cliffs, what can I say? You tell the mermaid that there was nothing so very heroic about all of that. You were simply excited, that is all, to see her again. You weren't thinking. Well, that makes two of us. I was excited to see you again. She was? Naturally. I had a very good time speaking to you last night. I hoped that we might resume our correspondence. That is why I came to the rocks a bit earlier than usual. I was waiting for you. Did you hear my song? Yes, you reply with a nod of your head. You heard it all the way in the abandoned cottage. It called out to you. That was the general idea. I was singing for you. She was? That's a little weird. You don't want mermaids singing for you. That's never a good thing. With clumsy fingers, you reach into your pocket. Wow, that is really well made. Goodness me. Okay, that's a lot fancier than I was expecting. I was expecting, like, a daisy crown or something, not this, jeez. For a few moments you fret that your near fall down the cliff might have damaged the delicate chain nestled within it, but your worries are in vain. The chain is surprisingly sturdy given it was made with only a few flowers, and it has held firm against the odds. You were pleased with the chain when first you made it, but after looking at the mermaid you have begun to reconsider. The mermaid's beauty is otherworldly, so much so it almost hurts to look at her. The mermaid's lips curve upwards into a smile, and in a voice so full of gratitude it makes your heart throb, she says, "Oh my, did you make this for me?" Well, yes, you reply, still feeling a little flustered. You saw these flowers earlier when you went for a walk, and they made you think of her. Not, you hasten to add, that you think her beauty is comparable to these flowers. They are far inferior when contrasted with her good looks. You're being a bit of a simp here, girl, I gotta say. Like, you need to calm down. You're sounding like, if you were a guy, I would be expecting you to wear a fedora. You need to calm down. I think that your gift is a wonderful one. I did not expect it, but it really is pretty. You look at your feet too shyly to meet the mermaid's gaze. Then you say, very quietly, that you're glad she thinks so, but she does not need to spare your ego. You have precious little of it left as it is. The mermaid seems touched by your shyness. Perhaps she likes her prey to be self-conscious. Because she smiles. I feel like she does, and I feel like we like her and think she's so beautiful as much as we do, partly because of her siren song. I am not simply saying these things to spare your ego. I am not like that. Humans might spout platitudes as easily as they breathe air, but I do not compliment others unless I truly mean it. Is that not the point of speech? To have an honest dialogue with one another? If one party in a conversation is withholding their true intentions, then conversation is impossible. Playing games is a waste of my time, particularly given my time above the surface is so very limited. She really does like it? Did I not just say that? You humans are so very funny with all your second guessing. She was like that too, in the beginning. She? My friend. The mermaid's answer is a simple one, but it makes your stomach clench regardless. Ah yes, her friend. How could you have forgotten about her? I don't know, I thought you had forgotten. How did you forget? I was wondering that myself. She used to make me gifts too, you know. Gifts like this one. She would pick flowers on the cliffs over there, where I cannot tread. And she would fashion them into crowns like this one, and bracelets. Of course, the cowherd gave the mermaid gifts. Why would she not? The mermaid is beautiful. How silly of you to think that your idea was an original one. I might be accustomed to gifts, but it has been a long time since any human being has bequeathed me with anything. This is a pleasant surprise. I'm truly thankful for your kindness, dear one. The mermaid places your floral trinket upon her head. Ah, that is quite nice. I did a damn good job, didn't I? Over her long, fair hair, then surveys you in a manner which seems almost coquettish. I am glad that you've been thinking of me. I, in truth, have been thinking of you, though I did not wish to say as much. No? No. It would be embarrassing to confess to you how much I've been looking forward to our reunion, if you did not feel similarly. I do not care to pine for humans from afar. But if you care for me as I do you, then it makes me feel less alone. You hasten to assure the mermaid, your face aflame. Do you ever stop blushing? Goodness gracious, that you do care for her, very much so. You've not known her for very long, but she's certainly made an impression upon you. She is such an easy conversationalist. The time simply slips by when you are together. And it does not hurt, of course. She is so pretty. I have heard it, yes, that my looks are rather appealing. My old friend was similarly goodness, that is some weird alliteration. Similarly complimentary. I cannot blame you humans for being so taken with me when my form is so very graceful. Oh, okay, not to brag or anything. Your legs seem rather cumbersome in comparison to my smooth, sleek tail. Hey, at least my legs allow me to walk. But the surface is a good deal brighter than it is underneath the ocean. I will grant you that much. You agree with the mermaid, still feeling flushed, that there are some perks to having legs. Plus, legs are much more attractive than a tail, if I may say so myself. An agreement which makes the mermaid giggle. I am certain that there are, though you cannot explore the ocean's depths as I can. I presume you have never tried it? You shake your head no. Maybe you should, say yes, and then she won't try and force you to try it. Well now, that is a pity. You were kind enough to give me a gift fashioned from flowers which grow where I cannot reach them, so perhaps I ought to return the favor. Perhaps we could look at it as a form of cultural exchange. The mermaid turns her attention towards the clear, mirror-like water which shimmers beneath the moonlight. Why does she only come out at night? Can she not come out at day? Then she dives. Her body arches elegantly through the air, her long, slender limbs cleaving through the surface of the water with nary a ripple. You stand there for several moments, watching the black water lap against the shore. Time elapses, but how much of it? While you stand there fretfully, feeling as ostentatious as a maypole. When will the mermaid return? Will she ever return? You're starting to worry. Is that all you do? When? Look! Over there! By the rocks, which the mermaid once sat. The water is rippling. It looks as though your new friend has returned. That really didn't take long. Jeez, why do you keep worrying so much? The mermaid pulls herself onto the rocks using a surprising amount of upper body strength, then smiles at you. I apologize for the wait. I hope I did not make you worry. You were worrying, but you are not half so honest as the mermaid. Mermaids might be spoken of as devious tricksters who lure sailors to their deaths, but they are, in actuality, very sincere. You can tell this from the one singular mermaid that you have met and known for, 3 hours? That accounts for everything. Now, you basically known her your whole life. I do hope that you like it. The mermaid leans forward, then holds her gift out towards you. Her slender fingers unfurl about it, the petals of a flower being folded back and... Of course, it's a shell. Oh, what a pretty gift it is, something that I could find on the sand, oh my goodness. The ocean might be dark and deep, cold and unfeeling, but the same cannot be said for the object which glitters upon the mermaid's palm. She is fished from the depths of the water, a beautiful shell, one which shimmers prismatic colors beneath the moon's light, such like the scales on her tail. I could have used a better picture then. This is just an ordinary shell. You hold the shell to your heart, which is beating in a regular rhythm, and look at the mermaid. Then, very softly, you thank her. It is quite alright. It seems only fair after you shared part of your world with me. I wish to share part of my world with you too. Would that I could, I would bring you with me to my underwater kingdom, where we might be together. The mermaid's melodic voice trails away, suffusing with something resembling melancholia. She sighs. Then she shakes her head and smiles. But this will have to do for the present. Please take good care of that shell. Look at it from time to time and think of me. The days pass following this nightly encounter with your aquatic acquaintance with an almost intolerable slowness. It is only during the night that the mermaid emerges from beneath the waves, and when she does, you hurry to her side. You've never before had anybody who took so great an interest in you. Not until you met the mermaid. Your nightly conversations when you greet her come easily enough, the words tumbling from your mouth like a thread. You have grown rather comfortable in the mermaid's company, and she yours. She must have, for it is not long after you bequeathed your diadem of flowers to the mermaid that she looks at you, then posits a curious question. I was wondering, dear one, whether you would mind indulging me. I know this might not seem like an appealing proposition, but I thought it would be remiss of me not to ask. I have seen some of your world, for I have sat on the shore for many, many nights hence, but you have seen nothing of mine. It seems unfair that I should know some of the world that you inhabit, while you know so little of my own. I don't like the sound of this. You're flattered initially that the mermaid wishes to show you something so personal, but after this flutter of flattery, then comes an uncomfortable sense of unease. The mermaid might feel at home beneath the water's surface, but what of you? You're a human girl with two awkward, ungainly legs, and you were not made to live under the sea. You're a little afraid of the sea. It is so restless, so deep, and so all-consuming it reminds you of a hungry monster. You have never submerged yourself beneath the ocean before. Never had the opportunity. You do not even know how to swim. Do not look so frightened, dear one. I will be with you. I will not let you go. You have my word. Will you not let me go when I'm drowning? Will you bring me to the surface? That's what I'm really concerned about. You trust her not to break her word. She will not leave you beneath the waves, abandoning you to a cruel, lonely fate to become food of so many fish. Of that you are certain. That is why, despite all of your misgivings, you find yourself nodding your head. Oh, I knew that you would agree. Thank you so very much for humoring me. I will endeavor to make these next few moments the most memorable you have ever experienced. Now, would you care to come with me? I shall be your guide. The ocean's depths might be dark, but I will not let you get away from me, I promise. The mermaid's fingers curl around your own. Her nails, only now do you notice how sharp they are, digging into your skin. Though the mermaid herself looks very soft, her grip is surprisingly strong. You do not think, if she willed it, you'd be able to get away from her. But why would you want to? She does not mean you any harm. Now, let us be on our way. There is much to see in my underwater kingdom. cannot wait to show it to you. She dives forward, her body slicing through the surface of the water like a knife. And you, inexorably, are dragged along with her. Oh, wow. That is very nice. I mean, the proportions are horrendously drawn, but otherwise it looks very, very nice. The water rushes forward to meet you in a sudden, shocking rush. The mermaid's descent might be graceful, but yours is anything but. You do not know how to position your legs, and your limbs feel awfully ungainly. The shock of the water as it touches your skin, meanwhile, is intense. You did not think that the water could be this cold. I gotta say, the mermaid looks a lot better underwater though, so that's a plus. No, it's not just cold, it's freezing. It feels as though all the warmth had been sapped out of your skin. If your head was not already beneath the ocean's waves, you would gasp from it. Your surroundings are illuminated, though faintly, and thanks to this precious illumination, you can see the schools of fish swimming about you. But the seconds pass, and as they do, the mermaid continues to swim, leading you deeper and deeper into the ocean's depths. While once you were close enough to the surface that the moon's light could still slice through the waves, now it is so very dark you can scarcely see. Your vision is beginning to blur. You can feel an uncomfortable pressure weighing down on your inert body. Oh shit, yeah, if we're going deep, that is really not good for humans without preparation. You have descended, you realize, with a ripple of anxiety too deep. Humans were not meant to descend into these depths. The water, once cold, now feels freezing. It caresses every inch of your exposed flesh as if to sap what little warmth you might still possess. You shiver, and when you do, you swear that you can hear your teeth chattering despite the water which stops your ears. The water is stoppering up your nostrils. There is so much water down here at the bottom of the ocean. Shockingly enough, it's endless. When will the mermaid take you back to the surface? Surely she must know that you've fast begun near your limit. You've been underwater for too long. It is too cold. It's too dark now. In any event, you cannot see much of anything. The joy you once felt during your underwater adventure has begun to dissipate, just like the last of the oxygen you still possess. It is time to return to the surface now, but how are you to communicate this to the mermaid? You cannot speak, and she is not looking at you. Not knowing what else to do, you try to pull your arm free from the mermaid's grasp. You hope that this will signal to her that she has grown too carried away in her endeavors, that she ought to cut short your expedition and return you to the shore. The mermaid does not react, however, to your attempts to escape her. It feels as though she is gripping you more tightly than she was, as if to prevent your escape. But why would she do that? You tap on the mermaid's shoulder to get her attention, a gesture which prompts her at long last to turn. Her fair hair billows about her, suspended in the water like a shroud. Then she says, in that calm, measured, incredibly reasonable voice of hers, "Yes, dear one, what is it?" If you could, you would open your mouth to reply to her, but alas, you are a human girl, not a fish. You cannot speak underwater. She smiles at you gently, delicately, then says, "I understand. Being underwater for so long must be beginning to take its toll. Do your lungs feel like iron? Are they heavy?" So she does understand your woes. You might not be able to speak suspended as you are in the dark, murky depths, but communication is not wholly impossible. You nod your head empathetically, hoping that this will be enough to make your distress apparent, but yes, that will happen. It is a natural part, or so I have heard, of drowning. Not that I have ever had the opportunity to experience it for myself. I am incapable, you see, of meeting my demise in such a matter. Now, what was that? What could she mean? I mean, the mermaid answers, can she read minds? That this was a calculated act on my part. Forgive me, dear one, but the moment you consented to sinking beneath the water with me, your fate was sealed. Your lungs will be flooded with water soon enough. Then you will die. It is not a pretty way to go. You needn't worry about your corpse bloating, disfigured, or being eaten by fish, though. I will take good care of it, I promise. In death, you will look lovely, almost angelic. Is that not what you always wanted? Well, no, actually, I'd rather just not die. I am only doing this because I have no choice. The other girl I liked, after all, the one whom I adored, disappeared. She went away, and I was never again afforded the opportunity to see her. But you won't be able to talk to me if I'm dead. You remind me of that girl, though you do not look much alike, but you do not act very alike either. But you are both humans, who, despite your delicacies, have no shortage of determination. How your kind is able to live when your lifespans are so very short, and you are susceptible to so very many diseases, and is a mystery to me. My beloved cowherd left me. I do not know where she went or what happened to her. That is why I'm going to take you to my underwater kingdom with me. There we can be together forever. Nothing will be able to tear us apart then. I will brush your hair and I will dress you in the finest pearls found from the bottom of the seabed. It will be lovely. Much, much lovelier than any sort of miserable existence you might have been able to eke out above the water. In my citadel, you will never be attacked by bandits, nor ravaged by diseases. You will be quite safe, I promise. Quite safe, yes, and quite dead too, surely. Well, yes, that is the only unfortunate aspect of my plan. She considers your death nothing more than a mere misfortune? The mermaid might be surprisingly cold after all, but perhaps you ought to have predicted this. She is part fish. A fish, not cold-blooded like lizards. I do apologize for tricking you, but please try to understand. I really have been lonely. You can feel the pressure of the water against your eyes. They're beginning to ache. Perhaps you are crying. You do not know. The water masks much of your anguish. You've been drifting underwater for almost 3 minutes. That is a remarkably long time to go without any air. Is there no escape for you? Your fate, as the mermaid said, really was sealed the moment you met her, luxuriating on those rocks beneath the moonlight. But you'll forgive me if my sympathy is limited. You did bring this upon yourself, you know. You reap what you sow, and in your case, you made a series of bad decisions which led to your untimely demise. I only made one decision, thank you very much. Now, what do you want to do? Will you accept this fate of yours and rest in peace, or will you try to fight against it? That is the very question that we must ask, the only real choice that we have. But for now, I accept my fate. That's a bit of an anticlimactic answer at this juncture in your life story, but I suppose it would be remiss of me to lecture you too much. I am sure you are well aware of what a terrible series of decisions you have made. There is no need for me to belabor the point. That would be boorish, not to mention tedious. I'm rather tired of scolding you. So instead, I think I will content myself with loving you. What? You thought in your death the mermaid was the only one who would be able to consent you? I know I have said this before, but you really are naive. You cannot escape me, even if you are at the bottom of the deepest, darkest ocean. The world might have forsaken you, but I never will. I will never leave you. You will never be lonely again. With the fishes, you're beginning to feel distinctly waterlogged. Indeed I am. Still just as strange and suspicious as it was the first time, these endings. There's something else lying behind them. I don't know what yet, but I am very interested to find out. And if you are just as interested in me, then do be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Comment down below what you thought of today's episode and today's ending of the game. Let's take a look at the gallery. We have some very nice stuff going on. Surprisingly, this one comes first, which is interesting. The mermaid being dragged under. I wonder how long the final ending will take. Will it be a video on its own, or perhaps not? But nonetheless, next time, we'll make the third and final decision. So until then, thank you all so very much for watching. My name has been Senkara, and you'll never be lonely again. See ya.